survive. And you get money and Hashem gives you the blessing. Don't say, oh, I don't want it. Give it back. Hashem, I don't want this. Take it. No, that's not the right approach. Hashem's giving it to you for a reason. So use it for the right reasons. Okay. Okay. All right, we good? We're moving on?
One question.
Yes.
What if you have a desire to sit at the table with the tzaddikim and receive all this light, that metaphor? It seems like that's a physical, like there's some physicality or some ego involved.
There could be ego involved.
So how do you make sure
that there's no ego involved? Don't let your ego get involved.
Yeah.
No, you're in control. No, I'm serious. That's all there is to it. You are in control. And if there's something that is going to potentially inflate your ego, avoid it.
No,
or prepare for it.
When I say the table, I mean the table. Like, in Olam Haba, there's the...
Oh, there's no ego in the world to come. Doesn't exist. Ego is a purely human trait. Does not exist in the world to come where you're dominated by your neshama.
So that sort of metaphor is that sitting at the table with Hashem.
That's all metaphoric. No, don't think about that in physical terms at all.
It's all just light, soul, whatever.
Spiritual
no table?
stuff.
Okay, joking.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
It's a leg.
That's right.
Table leg.
Okay. All right, let's continue. V'hinei. Zedaimek tzas. This is a little bit similar. La'aisam shezacharnu lamala, to those that we mentioned earlier. Shemekablim scharim ba'olam hazeh, that they receive all of their reward in this world. V'ne'evadim la'olam haba, and they are lost in the world to come. Ach, nivdalim mehem have dagada. However, they are very different from that group. V'hu, and that is, ki aisam shezacharnu shemer shem gemurim, because that group that we were discussing before, those are the purely wicked. Hine kol koyach ma'aseim atayvim. They have used up all the power of their good deeds, b'schar sheba'olam hazeh, with the reward that they received in this world. V'einam magim al nitzchius klal, and they don't make it at all to eternity. Ve'elu, but these, the ones that we're talking about here, no, these are people that their good deeds do get them into the world to come. Even though they might need a lot of purification, their souls might need to go through a lot to be purified. But nevertheless, there is still a degree of them that is left that will survive in the world to come. Ella, however, because of the bad that they have done, because of their bad deeds, or let's translate this literally, because of the kilkul maseh, means the ruining of their deeds, their mitzvahs don't get them very far in the world to come. They get a little bit, they have a small portion, but because of this ruination, they're not going to have much. And many of their merits will be paid for, and they will receive the reward for those here in this world. Because if their judgment was that they should receive their reward in the world to come and not in this world, then these people might have been on a very high level, and their deeds might have put them up amongst the upper echelons of people in the world to come. But because the way they did what they did, or because of what they did, perhaps, they are receiving their benefit in this world, so by the time they get there, they're going to be lower on the list than they would have been otherwise. Okay, so the different commentaries that I saw understand this section here as meaning that if a person does certain bad things, then their good things will be repaid in this world. Now, I'm not 100% comfortable with that, and it's certainly not my place to, give a commentary on this, not being well-versed in this at all, and certainly not having the experience that the commentaries have. But I will kind of hang my hat on Rav Dessler over here and understand that when he says over here, Kilkul Ma'asehim, he doesn't mean they're bad deeds. He means a ruination of his deeds, meaning his good deeds. Meaning that he did his good deeds in a bad way. Meaning his motivation for the good things that he did was not a good motivation. And therefore, he's not going to receive the reward for those things in the world to come. Which is not the way the commentaries that I've seen explain it. The way I've seen them explain it is that if you do certain really bad things, even though you've also done some really good things, but the really bad things are going to not negate in the classic sense, but they will cause that your good deeds will be repaid in this world. You have somebody who he's been learning Torah for 50 years, and then one day he goes and kills somebody. So that bad deed is so telling about who this person really is that it's going to cause that he gets his reward for all the learning that he did here in this world, and that's by the time he gets up to the world to come, he'll have very little left. That's the way they understand it. The way I understand it personally, and again, just remember, this is just me, but I am hanging my hat on Rav Dessler over here, that it means that when a person does the good deeds that he does, his motivation isn't good. He's not doing his good deeds right. He's kilkul ma'asehim, he's ruining the good that he does do. And that is what causes his good deeds to be paid in this world, using Rav Dessler's system. That if your motivation isn't a good motivation, then your reward isn't going to be a good reward. Your motivation is physical, your reward's going to be physical. And then when you get to the world to come, you're not going to be left with very much. There'll be very few things that you did with a pure motivation, with a spiritual motivation, and therefore your reward will be very limited in the world to come.
My understanding from the word call in general is if you did something that was that degree of rishus, that degree of evil, say everybody starts with a free ticket to the banquet hall. So when you get in, based on the good you've done, you're rewarded, turn it into an arena. Are you a nosebleed? Are you front row? Are you on the court? But if you do specific bad things, you lose your ticket. So you're going to be put. That's what he calls Abadon or the opting.
Okay.
So then, if you do that, you're going to get your good paid out in this world because you lost your ticket. You're going to be in what he calls.
That's not what we're talking about here, though. He's talking about people who do make it to the world to come, but they're on the lower level instead of the higher level because.
The level of the community, right?
Yeah, but in, not out.
In, okay.
Well, he just differentiated.
That's fair.
Right? Okay. All right, but yeah. So there's levels of people who don't make it in, and they get all their reward in this world, all of it. Nothing's left for the world to come. Then there are people who make that minimum cut, but for some reason, again, there's these cryptic words here, kilkul ma'asehim, because of that, they're going to lose their stature in the world to come, and they'll end up on the lower ranks because they got a lot of their reward in this world, as opposed to people who don't get a lot of their reward in this world, they're going to be very high up, because they're going to get all of their reward for all their good things in the world to come. Yes?
Makes more sense.
Okay, I'm just reading what he says.
No, it's gone rotten. It's rotting.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. 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 All right, let's finish up over here. Tess. V'ulam. However, b'chol ma shezacharnu ad hena, everything that we've mentioned until this point, hine nizbar inyan yisuri hatzadikim ba'olam hazeh. We have explained, at least to an extent, the difficulties that righteous people experience in this world, v'shalvas harashoyim, and the tranquility of the wicked, v'chen hanoshim hanafshim, and also the punishments of the soul, meaning Gehenna, mitzad mashal hachana legemul ha'amiti, that the purpose of that is a preparation for the true reward, shel asid lavai, which is stored in the world to come. However, tovas hatzadikim ba'olam hazeh, the goodness of the righteous in this world, nimsheches al derech Hashem, that works with a different system altogether. And we will explain that in the future. It's actually going to be the next chapter, is when we're going to discuss the reward for righteous that they do have in this world. V'chol shall be and everything that we've explained, hukafi hakaitev hasheni haklali shezachanu lahachana. This is all based on the second system that we described at the beginning of this section, which is the general overview, the general system that Hashem works with for judging the world as a whole. However, when it comes to the judgment on a personal level, it works with a whole different system that is different than this. And this is what we will be discussing in the next chapter with Hashem's help. So what he's saying is, understand that this is a generalized system that works for the general populace, not getting involved so much with the individual. That will be the next chapter. That's what we're going to be discussing. But until this point, we have discussed a general concept, and using this, we can understand the reason for righteous suffering in this world. And it's a pretty simple system. It's an order that when they get to the world to come, they should be pure and clean and not need to go through any further purification. And that is why the wicked will prosper in this world potentially, because they're getting the reward for whatever little bit of good that they did do here in this world, and this way there will not be any world to come for them. All right? Very good. All right, thank you for coming.
I know where we are next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's the 4th, right?
And the next one is opening a certain day, they think, but this one's still closing. It's not closing.
There's going to be an overlap.
So this
Okay.
is our last time here.
Then
Okay.
when will we go?
I think there'll be anything open.
Okay, so
So White Bluff is still open.
Right.
So and they have an outdoor space. It's a little bit further down the road, but that could be an option. At least for the time being.
how big of an outdoor space do they have? Enough that we could fit?
Yeah, and there's umbrellas and stuff like that. Like, I don't know how many people, I usually am not over there on a Sunday, so I don't know how many people are there,
Right.
but
Okay.
that's the next closest one,
Right.
if we want to do a Starbucks.
Okay, so we have a couple of options. We can either come back here, even after they're closed, and somebody can pick up coffee, or we could go to the one on White Bluff and just be there and hope that they don't kick us out. We don't have the kind of pull that we have over here.
Well, they might not have dispensers.
Yeah, that's
Right, but just in time.
Oh.
They just got here this week. Just for us.
Mhm. Yeah.
All right. When it rains, we'll go to Shul, and then we have two options. Either somebody can go to White Bluff and pick up coffee, or, I know this might be sacrilegious here, but there is coffee in Shul. Fresh brewed.
I like
Dunkin'
the
Donuts.
outside.
Yeah, but we're talking about when it's raining.
Oh, okay.
You like the outside then?
No, but I'm
Okay.
saying I like being outside. I don't.
Right, we're talking about when it's raining. That's
Yeah,
what we're
when it's
talking about.
raining, yeah, then Shul's fine. But
Okay. All right, very good. So let's hope it's not raining, and we'll be at White Bluff Starbucks next week.
okay, I
Have a
won't
good
be
one.
here. I will not be here.